If you're interested to know more about a profession that drives innovation, efficiency, and optimization in the water and wastewater sector, please stay tuned and listen to the experiences of a successful immigrant. Good day, everyone. I'm Brennan, and welcome to Immigrant in Canada. Let me start off this initiative with a good friend of mine who actually inspired me as well when I first came here to Canada. He is a competent, respectable, and a really passionate guy. Everybody, let us all listen to Indra Maharjan.
I'm Indra Maharjan, so I'm an electromechanical engineer by profession. Landed in Canada in 2010 August, and currently working as a manager for innovation, efficiency, and optimization with the Ontario Clean Water Agency, working in the water wastewater sector here in Ontario. There are professions here in Canada which are regulated. So finding employment or getting into employment in these regulated sector needs licenses, and you need to complete some of the pre-steps to get into a professional employment here. I did my research before I landed here. So when I came here, I had all the documents that I need to apply for my professional engineer license. So that's the first thing on my to-do list when I landed here. So I basically submitted that in the first week. And, as always, everybody goes through the same journey. Found a job in the call center, and then started looking for something related with electrical, around electrical estimator, and then eventually, went into different jobs and consulting job as a starter job, like analyst, and finally got a break into the water wastewater, which I used to do back in Nepal for about 10 years. So continuous, looking at the target where I want to be, but also building every job I did before I got to that ultimate sector, and building and knowledge, learning about applications of codes and standards, tools. Obviously, the key one I did was knowing people in the industry, knowing about the sector, knowing about the prospective employers and different kind of roles. So also bridging course with Humber helped, and other, resume writing, interview skills, those kinds of trainings also really helped to complete that journey of the career enhancement. So I consider the City of Toronto job as my first professional job. That was through a Career Bridge internship program. So I went as a Career Bridge intern in the role of energy analyst into the City of Toronto, and started learning about energy standards, Ontario Building Code, different kind of efficiencies, regulations and programs, and opportunities in the new construction and other areas. That is my first job. So there's different programs that basically connect you with the employers, whether it's municipal employers or provincial government service jobs. Any newcomer needs to be aware of these opportunities. These are opportunities that bridges you and the prospective employers, that encourage newcomers, internationally trained engineers to get into employment. So that was my first job in April 2012, and I think I was there till November, but I used that platform as, again, networking people, knowing about the industry, and that's how I landed into a first full-time job as an energy analyst into a consulting company called Willis Energy Services. The keys is, as I always tell people, that I believe in those 3P principle. Usually the first one is staying positive, right? There's a lot of activities we do which doesn't produce the result we have anticipated, and staying positive is one of the key things that keeps us going in this country. Second is planning, and I think everything needs planning. You just can't be applying to 100 jobs and not get the interviews. You always have to plan. What are you applying? What kind of roles? What kind of employers? Where do you want to be? And all these kinds of things. And the third is a persistence. So, even though we are doing the right thing, even though we are putting our best effort, sometimes it takes a time. And I think that's where persistency is big thing. Beside these three P's, the other thing is enhancing your transferable skills, enhancing your soft skills, enhancing your communication skills. And you don't need to have a job to do these, to enhance these skills or to polish these skills. You can use any interaction you have with anybody in this country to enhance your soft skills and communication skills. For example, the first job I did was in a call center, and my job was to call people, or people call us, and it was a transaction about the communication phone bills. And I used each single call, which I did as a part of the job, to improve my communication skills, like speaking skill, negotiation skills, and other skills, verbal skills, which actually came very handy to throughout my professional job. So those are the key ones, I would say, that will be a key differentiator between being successful and not being successful in this country. I work in water wastewater industry. So my company operates hundreds of water wastewater systems, and majority of our colleagues are in operations business, operating the plants and providing those clean water and treating the wastewater. So my role is finding energy, finding efficiency, promoting optimization, and driving innovative solutions in this sector. So my typical day starts with discussing with these operations people and my municipal clients about how we can innovate, how we can be more efficient and generate cost savings, energy savings, and other greenhouse gas savings. How can we help deliver those projects that will generate those results? So a typical day looks like meetings with the clients, creating those business case. I have a small team that helps me identify these opportunities, sometimes go to the site, visit the site, talk with the people. So it's majority of the time it's about relationship, it's about communication, again talking about what is opportunity, why is it opportunity, how we can generate the results from this opportunity, and basically how to make it happen, who is going to do it, and then convincing clients and my operations colleagues to basically follow that. So in another cool part of the job is bringing in new technologies, new solutions, and managing that change through that process of adoption of that new technology. So dealing with a lot of stakeholders. So I deal with a lot of stakeholders through the entire value chain of the water system, water wastewater sector, and that again involves a lot of trust building, a lot of relationship building, a lot of communication, and then value creation activities. So it's mostly relationship building, but also a business case, promotion of the business case, approval of the business case, and understanding the technology, and making sure that you deliver what you have said you're going to deliver. So that's how the typical day looks like. I believe that we have technical skills. We know the technical stuffs that need to do the job. And now the challenging question is, what is our transferable skills, right? So technical skills can be transferable. Electrical knowledge or mechanical or civil is the same. But the thing that we need to learn is the application of codes and standards and regulations and legislation acts and all those kinds of things. And then, as I said, the most we do the work in this area in a collaborative way. So being a good team member, and that's where all those soft skills comes into a big role. Like, how are you going to collaborate? How are you going to build a trust with your colleagues? How are you going to communicate? How are you going to present your case in a good way? So all these soft skills comes into the big role that will help you be a successful in the career. If you look at the typical water wastewater sector, mostly operating water wastewater is a core job, but then also there's a lot of projects you need to do, regular capital projects, maintenance projects, upgrades, and a lot of like I said, efficiency optimization, and there's a lot of different roles. And there's also some corporate services like financial role, marketing, procurement, those kinds of marketing business kind of roles. So depending on where we are coming from, and today we're talking about technical engineering roles. So I would say there's two ways that technical people can get into the water wastewater sector. One is through operations, going into operations role, and second is through project management and project management engineering capital kind of role. So to enter into operations, the first thing you need to do is to get those operator in training license, which is similar to EIT. You just need to appear for exam. And most of the people who come from abroad already have educational degrees that will make them qualified to appear for exam. So there's 4 levels of the licenses. So you have to start from 1, and you move up as you work and your experience gets added up. There's also 4 categories of license, like water treatment, water distribution, wastewater treatment, and wastewater collection. So these or all of these down the road, that will give you opportunity to get into operations team. And once you get as operator, you can be team lead, supervisor. You can just progress that. Now, on the second area is to enter into as an engineer or a project manager, project coordinator. So for those, you don't need to have a lot of certifications, but EIT and being eligible to be a PMP would definitely help. But also, even in the project management role, there's a lot of other different sub roles. Like you can be a hydraulic modeler, you can be cost what do you call that, estimator. You can be capital project manager. There's different roles. But most of these jobs are done by a consulting company, so you better look at the consulting side of the job, whereas the operations is mostly done by like my company or municipalities, owners of the systems themselves. So you need to look at the right job in the right place, and also be familiar with what kind of roles they do, so that you have a strategy. Again, that goes back to the same thing I said, is planning, right? Like you need to plan what are you going to apply, and then you need to look at where to apply. You just can't be doing all at once. So I think keeping options open and being flexible is a key. As there's a couple of myth in the industry that we hear all the time as internationally trained people, like, oh, Canadian experience, or I don't have a Canadian experience, or I don't have a Canadian degree, or employers don't hire us. I don't think that's all true. It depends on the individual. You have seen a lot of reports, survey done with the employers. Employers value internationally trained people. They have said that we bring in a lot of value to the company. We bring in a lot of diversity. We bring in a lot of business opportunities. Like for example, I can speak a couple of languages. That is a business opportunity for my employer. We have multiple technical skills, and we come up with multiple years of experience. So I think transferring those all here is the key. Canadian experience. Yeah. So what is Canadian experience, right? So what I've seen when people talk about Canadian experience is, again, those communication experience. It's not purely technical experience. It's more about knowing about cultural workplace cultures here, and working styles and working process and all these things. So Canadian education, like education is education. I mean, we have degrees, so that really counts. I think when we say Canadian education, like bridging course is a Canadian education. Some kind of seminars or workshops are Canadian experience, Canadian education. So people get really hung up on all of these, and then you start thinking like, oh, I don't have it, so I'm not ready. And then you start those vicious cycle of thought process. But I think it's all myth. What I would say is that come with open mind, come with positivity, do do your how work and build yourself, build your brand, and start communicating. Like you have to sell yourself, right? So and that job, if you can do that job in a good way, I think there's a lot of opportunities, especially in engineering, water, wastewater sector. Now, COVID has been an unfortunate event. This 2020 has been a very unfortunate year, but when the curve goes down, then it comes up. So we know that there's going to be a lot of work, a lot of economic activities, a lot of investment on infrastructure, including water, wastewater, in coming years. And what does that mean? Is that means more opportunity for people. So get ready for those. Get ready to get into those opportunities, get involved in those opportunities, and keep an eye on what's happening in the market in province. Also, the other thing I want to say is a lot of people come here, obviously big cities, we land in the big cities because that's where we know, but try to get out of the big cities. There's a lot of employers outside of the greater Toronto Hamilton area, and look at those opportunities. And I know personally that there are a lot of workforce outside of the Toronto area are retiring. So try to, if you can, if you can be flexible, try to look for those opportunities and get your foot into the door, gain your experience. And if you want to move back to the city, you can. But I love small towns. It's a very nice environment, good pay, quiet and easygoing, uh, best environment to bring up the families. Yeah, life is difficult. Yes, there's not a big malls. There's only a few shops and things like that. But it's a good, I would say it's a great way to start your career, start your new life. And in cities, bigger cities, there's a competition. The market is kind of saturated. So if you want to start something, maybe look beyond the city limits, right? And that might be a good way to start. I know a lot of people that are working in small towns, like 7 hours north of Thunder Bay, Rainy River, Kenora, some of these cities, and then a couple of years down, they move, to Barrie, to Innisfil, and Windsor kind of thing. So that's another way of gaining experience, getting foot in the door, enhancing your career, and building your career.
And there you have it. I hope that you learned something new from the information that Indra has shared with us. In the future videos, do expect to hear different stories, tools, techniques, and information from another internationally trained professional coming from a different sector. In the beginning, you'll notice that I am interviewing people that are in the engineering and architectural industries because that's basically the same sector that I am in. However, I'm assuring you that I have connections from different sectors as well, and I'll be more than happy to feature them in my future videos. If you have any questions, comments, or requests on the type of the profession that you would like to know more about, please do not hesitate to leave me a message in the comments section below. And if this video helped you and you have people in your network that you think would be benefiting from this information as well, please do spread the word by sharing this video. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of the week.